Hi everyone, welcome back. This video is about how to handle the pressure from your parents. Um, this topic was suggested by one of my good friend. Yeah, and she asked me about two specific things, but I'm just gonna say in general of how to handle pressure from your parents, of how I learned to handle pressure from my parents. So the first thing that I want to say is understand from what perspective your parents are speaking from. Understanding their perspective is very important because for any situation to come under control, or for any situation to be at peace, knowing the perspective is very important of what the other person is saying. So just know that, or we know that our parents always want the best for us, but if you don't think what they're saying is not best for you, you need to know why they're saying what they're saying. So what is that makes them feel that is best for you? So that's the first point. Understand from what perspective your parents are speaking from. And the second point that I want to share is know exactly what they want from you. Like, it's very important to know the picture they have for you, the picture they see for you, because that is what is driving them. So just know, like, ask them what is the picture that you're seeing for me or for my future, and just know a clarity about what they are having in their minds and in their hearts. So it's very important to know the picture that your parents are seeing for you. And third third point is have a clarity about what you want from your life. This is more of self, but it is important. So you need to know what you want for yourself because without vision people perish. So that's what the word of God says. So just know what you want for your own life. And the fourth point is communicate with your parents honestly and with all due respect and honor of what you want, the picture that you see for yourself. I did say that the picture, to ask them for the picture they are seeing for you. And now, because you know, in the third point, that you need to have a clarity about what you want for your life. So you have your own picture, so you're like putting their picture and your picture on the table. So you need to learn how to communicate with your parents. And the reason I'm saying it from my own personal life, like, as a kid, confronting my parents was like the hardest thing for me. Because confrontation was so hard as a kid of like even like 10, 12. Like, I would be like, I used to lie because I was scared of confrontation. I didn't know how they would react, because you know what you want to communicate, but you do not know the reaction that might come back. But I think like communication is like very important. So just be honest. So I started to lie to my parents, but that did me no good until I started communicating to them about the truth in my heart of what I felt from my perspective. So communicate with your parents honestly. So that's why I put the word honesty in there, because if you're not honest, then you're doing no good to yourself or to anybody, including your own parents. And fifth thing is, no relationship works out without hard work and proper communication. So yeah, communicating with your parents is like the same rule applies very much with your own parents. Just because they gave you birth and brought you up all through your life, they cannot see what's running in your heart or mind. And one of the reason it drives them crazy, because they don't know what's running in your mind, and they think like you're not understanding them, whereas you think like they are not understanding you, but all that lacks is communication. So just be open and communicate with your parents, because that's what I did. That's what I started doing with my parents long time back, and our relationship just like became stronger after that. So yeah, communication is the most important thing. And the sixth thing is, learn how to make deals with your parents. I mean, true, because it's not a win-lose situation, it's a win-win situation. So If it's a win-win situation, then you need to know how to make the deal where your parents don't feel like they're losing it, or you don't feel like you're losing yourself in pleasing them, or they shouldn't feel like they're sacrificing themselves because to allow your desires. So make it in a situation like that where it's a win-win situation. uh, you have known what the picture they see for yourself, you know the picture what you see for yourself. Get the most beautiful picture out of collaborating those two pictures. So that's how it has to be. Learn how to make deals with your parents and make the situation a win-win situation. uh, Seventh is, tell your parents not to compare you with anybody else. I think one of the reasons, like, our parents go through pressure or put pressure on us is because they compare us with other people. And it's hard. I mean, nobody likes to be compared. So just tell your parents, like, don't compare. If you really want to compare, this is what I did in my life. If you tell them, if you really want to compare me with who I was and what I have become. So if, if compassion is all they want, let them compare with who you were and what you have become. So yeah, just encourage them, because it's hard even for them, because when other parents like are coming, oh, my children achieved so much, they're doing so great and all that. So there is a chance that your parents might feel insecure and they bring that insecurity on you. So, and even if other parents don't say anything, just by looking or seeing into the lives of other kids, your parents might be like, why isn't my child up to that mark? So it's very important for your parents to make them feel secure, and just just tell them not to compare you with anybody else. So yeah, because we don't compare them with other parents, so why should they? That's a secret between us. But yeah, and they do their best for us, on all honesty. So we have to do their best to keep them secure. And the eighth point that I want to say is, give time for them to understand your perspective. Don't just like expect them that as soon as you communicate with them, they're gonna understand you. I mean, they're humans just like you and me, and it takes time for them. Like, some of the things that I told my mom, she didn't understand for years. And until, like, after, for years, I had to be like thinking, when will she understand? And after like so many years, you'd be like, oh, I understood why you did the way you did at that point of time, like that. So yeah, just give them time. They were just kids like us, growing up and going through life. And yeah, they ended up having us and bringing us up, but they are still learning as parents. And yeah, we are learning adulthood, but they are learning their share of learning. So just give them discounts, just like you give yourself discounts. And nine, but not the ninth, it's the last one but not the least one, and the most important one, is pray. After you have communicated, after you did everything and still they don't understand you, don't be disappointed, don't lose heart, just pray about it. I remember, like, one of the situations where my mom kept like saying me, you don't do this, you don't do that. Like, she had a big list of what I don't do. But whereas in my mind, I was thinking of all the things that I was doing right. But I was like wondering, why can't she see things that I was doing right? But I felt if I talk anything to her at that point when she is angry, I felt like situation might just be heated up. So I used to be quiet, and I was like praying inside me, God, when will she understand what I'm going through? And then I immediately, like, my servant, like, was like, she was like telling my mom, can I tell you something, if you don't mind, ma'am? She was like kind of like taking my mom's permission, and my mom thought it was like for some work that she has to do, and she's taking my mom's permission. And that's what even I thought too. And suddenly, like, she was like, I don't, please don't scold your daughter like that. I worked in so many, she told her, I worked in so many different houses, and I'm still working in other houses too. But I'm telling you, out of all the kids of your daughter's age, she's the nicest one I have seen. And you scolding her is making me feel bad. So I just want you to say, like, if you see kids outside, you'll be so shocked of how they live their life, but your daughter is like so good. So that made me happy. And if you say I spoke about it, no, if my mom didn't realize it, but God used somebody else to speak up, and suddenly she was quiet, she stopped scolding me. So the situation became like quiet. And yeah, sometimes you have to just give time to your parents. And I remember one of the situation with my dad, I wanted to convince him, but I just didn't know what to speak or what. But then my dad's friend came up, and I think like they kind of like discussed about the situation, and his daughter was of my age. So that uncle kind of like told like they're too young or for that like kind of like decision that my dad wanted to make on behalf of me, but I was not ready. So yeah, and then my dad changed his mind. So yeah, we might think of so many things to make our parents understand, but sometimes doing our best and giving our best and leaving it in God's hands makes all things better. I hope my situation of what I've learned in my life kind of helped you all to improve your relationship with your parents. It's not like my relationship with my parents is like perfect or anything with my mom, but it's just grows. Relationships always keep growing. So yeah, that's how it has to be. So hope you all have a good time. Love you. Take care. Bye.